Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Kara Shirley. I'm your digital news desk host here for Wlbt Plus. And right now, we are waiting on the press conference to start. That is with Mississippi officials for talking about Mississippi's role in the murder of Callie and Erin Brunett. Erin, of course, is the 4-year-old who was murdered, found murdered here in Jackson just a couple of short weeks ago. And the man who was responsible or is allegedly responsible for her murder and her mother, Callie, her murder has been caught. We're going to be talking about Mississippi's role in this case today. So we have people like Commissioner Sean Tindell is going to be there. We also have representatives from the Mississippi Attorney General's office, JPD, Hinds County Sheriff's Office, the Hinds County District Attorney's Office, and U.S. Marshals are all going to be there. And being able to answer questions about the different agencies' roles in this case. If you need reminding of the man and his alleged accomplice who was arrested for this. I have that here for you on the screen. So this is Daniel Brunett. I apologize. His name is Daniel Callahan, and he was arrested for killing Callie Brunett in Louisiana, then abducting her 2 children and killing the 4-year-old Erin here in Jackson. Now, the woman you see on the screen, her name is Victoria Cox, and she was arrested, saying that she helped him in these crimes. Now, she is denying that, but so far, that is what she has been charged with and what has been arrested for. The 2 children that lost their lives, here we have them on the screen. You have sweet little 4-year-old Erin there and her 6-year-old sister who did survive this. Survived the abduction, and she was in the hospital for a while. We don't have any updates on her, although we are trying to get some updates for you guys on her. But this press conference is set to start in just a minute. And as soon as it gets started, we are going to take you straight into the press conference as it happens. So if you remember Callahan during his perp walk, he admitted to his alleged actions. He says that he was diagnosed with multiple personality disorder, and he admitted on camera for Wlbt and the other news crews that were there, saying that he did it and that he deserves the death penalty. Says that lethal injection would be the easiest thing for him. That is what he said during his perp walk. Now, Victoria Cox, she has been implicated in the crimes that were allegedly committed by Callahan. And she is, Callahan's been charged with capital murder and sexual battery, but she is saying that she has nothing to do with that. And she said the last time she saw the 2 girls in Jackson in the custody of Callahan, that they were both alive. Now, Callahan was captured. The 4-year-old was found dead in woods along Bossier Drive, and his sister, 6-year-old little girl, was also found in the woods, but she was still alive as she was taken to the hospital. Their mother, Callie, was found dead in Louisiana. It is believed that Callahan killed the mother and abducted the 2 girls, brought them here to Mississippi. According to coroner there in the county or the parish where Callie Brunett was found dead, said that she died due to multiple sharp force injuries. And we don't have a definite cause of death for Erin at this time, but the Chief Wade with Jackson Police Department did say that there were no wounds, no gunshot wounds or anything like that on Erin, and that he believed that she possibly died from being suffocated. However, we have to wait for the forensics and the autopsy to come back to confirm that. But that is what he stated that he believed in the press conference that he did last week. Now, there was a press conference that was done in Louisiana last week on the 9th, I believe it was, the 19th. A grand jury was convened in Louisiana, and they did choose to indict Daniel Callahan on murder charges for Callie Brunett, also on charges for abduction. And we do believe that federal charges will be coming because he did take the children across state lines, which is a federal offense. So we are waiting for those to happen as well. But Louisiana right now is saying that they believe that that Callahan should be tried there first. I don't believe Mississippi has made a statement on that yet, which they may do that today during this press conference. Again, we're going to have Commissioner Sean Tindell there. He's with the Mississippi Department of Public Safety. We're going to have some representatives from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, the Mississippi Attorney General's Office, Jackson Police Department, Hinds County Sheriff's Office, Hinds County District Attorney's Office, and the U.S. Marshals. Again, they're going to be speaking on Mississippi's role in this case regarding the murders of Callie and Erin Brunett. So we are basically we're sitting here and just waiting for the press conference to get started, which should be happening in just a minute. It was set to start at 3 o'clock. And so now we're just waiting for the officials to take the stage there, take the podium, if you will. And when that happens, we're going to go straight into that. Again, in the press conference that Louisiana did last week after their grand jury convened, they said they hoped to be able to bring Callahan to court there, to trial there first before Mississippi. And then after they're done, then he can face the charges here in Mississippi. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you believe that Louisiana should be able to trial Callahan first and then Mississippi? Louisiana is stating that because the crimes and the incident began there, he should be tried there first. I don't know that there's really an argument that is going to be made in this, or there's going to be a quote unquote battle, if you will, between the states over who gets to try him first. I am expecting to hear someone answer that question today during this press conference. But Louisiana saying the crime started there, the murder of the mother happened there first, before the abduction, before the sad murder of 4-year-old Erin, which is alleged to have happened here in Mississippi. So they think that they should be able to try him first. So I said we are getting ready to go in, and I'm going to take you in there real quick. I believe they're going to be started here in just a second.
Good afternoon. I'm Commissioner Sean Tindell with the Mississippi Department of Public Safety. We're here today at a press conference to address the Daniel Callahan incident and charges that are being brought in multiple states against this heinous individual. June 13th was a very tragic day, very sad day, one in which saw not just the loss of life of a mother, but of an innocent child, and one that reaches at the hearts of all of Mississippi and Louisiana. We're blessed in this state to have law enforcement that's been working together and proven relationships over the last 4 years. And I know when an incident like this occurs, we all come together to try to solve these types of crimes. JPD, Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, Capitol Police, MHP, LSP, offices from across the state started working on this case immediately. And because of their cooperative efforts through state, federal, and local law enforcement, they were able to quickly apprehend this individual and stop his treachery in this case. The Attorney General's office has been assisting in this, also working with us in the District Attorney's office, looking to how we can prosecute this case in the future to get a successful prosecution in this state. I want to thank the Attorney General and her team for their efforts, and I'd like to recognize her to give a couple of remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tindell. Thank you all. Thank you for bringing us together today. And thank you to the officers at MBI for their work on this very tragic case. Chief Wade, thank you so much for you, for the officers of the Jackson Police Department, what you've done and what you will continue to do. Thank you to the men and women of the FBI who also lent their talents and resources here as well. We've worked together, and you all have tracked down Callahan, as the commissioner said. You rescued Callie, and you found poor sweet little Erin so that she can be laid to rest with dignity. My office is proud to work with all of these men and women as we've continued to unearth the details of this horrific act that has taken place in 2 different states. And together we're going to bring justice for this family. We are united front and will work diligently every day to make sure that these individuals are held accountable. You know, words cannot express the sorrow that we feel for this Brunett family, what they have suffered, what they have endured in the wake of this unimaginable, difficult time. Our prayers continue to be with Callie and her family as they mourn the loss of 2 precious lives that were senselessly taken. No family should ever have to endure what they've been through. No child should have to live with the nightmare that Callie just endured. I know we'll all hold our children a little closer, a little tighter in the recent days to come. Children should never be exploited. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the federal and the local law enforcement in Louisiana who've worked on this case. Our office has a strong relationship with the Louisiana Attorney General's office, General Merle, and then through the governor's office as well. We have a strong working relationship. We will continue to work with all the Louisiana partners in law enforcement on this case. And we're ready to work with all of you to ensure justice that is to be done for Callie, for Erin, and for Callie. And working together, we can achieve that. You know, cases like this underscore the importance of the public all working together. We have to continue to be dedicated with our law enforcement as well, because many of our cases start with public information, with tips, information we're able to gather from people who are out there who have their eyes open. They hear things, they see things, and they give us that information. They take the steps that actually can save a life. So the public's proactive vigilance is necessary, and the cooperation will continue to bring us crucial information. So I'd ask anyone that's listening, if you have information, please come forward. Help us to bring justice forward. You know, this should never happen, and anything that you can provide is very helpful to this active investigation. You know, particularly acts that are so horrific that involve our children. There's no greater responsibility than ensuring the safety and well-being of our children, and that responsibility falls on all of us. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Lieutenant Colonel James Herzog, and I'm the Special Agent in charge of the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. Just tell you a little bit about MBI. MBI, we conduct investigations statewide. We conduct our own investigations. We also conduct and assist local, state, and federal agencies on various investigations, primarily violent crime and officer-involved shootings. However, on this particular day of the 13th, we were contacted by Louisiana State Police and the Sheriff's Department in Louisiana to assist in an interview in the Bogue Chitto area. And during the course of this, that's when Louisiana State Police issued an Amber Alert. So simultaneously, that's when the subject was actually taken into custody. But this is a tragic case involving the murder of Callie Brunett in Louisiana, also the abduction and subsequent murder of her 4-year-old daughter who was found in Mississippi, and the abduction of her 6-year-old daughter who was thankfully found alive in Mississippi. First, I want to acknowledge and thank the various agencies that have been instrumental in this collaborative effort. One, Tangipahoa Parish, Louisiana Sheriff's Office, Louisiana State Police, the U.S. Marshals Service, the Jackson Police Department, the Mississippi Attorney General's Office, Capitol Police, and the Mississippi Highway Patrol, as well as the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation and our MBI crime scene analyst that worked tirelessly on this case. Specifically want to bring to light the 2 special agents that specifically worked this case on behalf of MBI, which is Megan Wasson and Norman Young. Also our crime scene personnel that's actually supervised by analyst Ty Parker. The progress in this investigation is a direct result of our combined resources, expertise, and dedication. This case exemplifies the importance of interagency cooperation. Also, we want to take a moment to recognize a critical role the community has played in this specific case. With public tips and cooperation, that's been invaluable within this investigation. Also, we want to encourage anyone with further information to come forward and assist us in ensuring justice is fully served. Now, while we have made significant strides, this investigation is still ongoing. So our agencies remain committed to seeing through to its conclusion, and we will continue to work tirelessly to ensure the safety and security of our community. On behalf of MBI, we appreciate your continued support and cooperation as we move forward with this case. And then also our prayers are with the families from this horrific tragedy. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I want to first start by sending my prayers and condolences to the victims and their families of this heinous act of violence here in the city of Jackson. I want to keep all families uplifted in prayer who have been impacted by crime here in the city of Jackson. Crime impacts us all, directly and indirectly. Daniel Callahan and Victoria Cox brought horror and unthinkable terror to the city of Jackson. These individuals were a threat to those kids, which means they were a threat to all of our children. What I saw in the woods in South Jackson is something you never want to see as a chief and as a father. We will hold these individuals accountable. Let me repeat, we will hold these individuals accountable for their actions. I want to thank the many agencies that assisted in this investigation. It is what I talk about all the time, collective and collaborative efforts together. Assistant Chief Watts and the hardworking men and women of the Jackson Police Department, the Attorney General's Office, the U.S. Marshals, Jackson FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, Department of Public Safety, Capitol Police, MBI, Mississippi Highway Patrol, Rankin County Sheriff's Office, Hinds County Sheriff's Office, Byron PD, Louisiana State Police, Hinds County District Attorney's Office, and Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office, a collaborative effort to bring these individuals to justice. Let me leave you with this. We will continue to press forward against evil and lawlessness in our community and in the city of Jackson, and give justice for the many, many families here in the city of Jackson that absolutely deserve it. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, General. Thank you, Colonel Herzog and Deputy Chief Watts. Again, this was a very heinous incident, one in which I can assure you that the full resources of the state of Mississippi will be dedicated towards the investigation, the continued investigation, and the future prosecution of these individuals. I can tell you that it is a very unique case. The investigation, like I said, is ongoing. It not only goes across state lines, but also within our state can go across multiple counties. And that's what the Attorney General's Office and the Department of Public Safety helps bring to the table when we start looking at the multi-jurisdictional issues and crimes that may have been committed. And again, working together with our state, federal, and local partners, we're able to secure prosecution not just here, but in Louisiana and possibly other parts of the state. So with that, we'll be glad to answer any questions that we can, but like I said, it is an ongoing investigation. Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask the chief about the situation involving where you believe Erin Brunett actually was killed. She was indicted by, I think, grand jury last week. He was indicted on a first-degree murder charge. Do you believe she was actually killed in the city of Jackson? We spoke with a neighbor who says he saw Callahan, Cox, and the girls on Wednesday or Thursday.
Based on our investigation, we feel confident that they are charged with the appropriate criminal charge of capital murder, both of them, and sexual battery on both of the individuals. We feel very confident based on our investigation and our investigation with our federal, state, and local partners. And this is an ongoing investigation. I still have more questions than answers, and we hope that more answers will become available. But that crime scene was worked extremely thoroughly. It was not worked with a sledgehammer, it was worked with a very, very microscopic approach. So a lot of evidence is going to be revealed later once forensic tests are completed, but we feel very comfortable with our charges, and we look forward to pursuing those here in the state of Mississippi.
Last week or the week before, we saw Daniel Callahan walk out of the police department, and he stopped in front of many of our cameras and admitted to some of these crimes. How does that confession and that few minutes of him talking impact the investigation and charges, and I guess where does that come in?
Well, I feel that it strengthens the case. It makes it stronger for us, Tangible Whole, and our federal partners as we move forward. He didn't say anything in the basement that we had not heard. So it really confirmed, made the case stronger. And it also gave the community and the citizens of Jackson, the state of Mississippi, and Louisiana, they got a chance to see what we see every single day, the people that we interact with every single day. Apparently, he was not ashamed of what he did, and he will be held accountable for what he did. Thank you.
Yes.
Can you talk about the prosecution of this because the district attorney in intentional parish has requested that they come to because the case really originated, the crimes really originated in intentional parish. So how will, from the prosecution side, move forward in this parallel manner? The first Louisiana person prosecuting the two suspects and Mississippi
Well, and I'm going to let the Attorney General talk about that a little bit as far as the prosecution and those jurisdictional issues. But I will say this, and I've had conversations with the General and our federal partners on multiple occasions with other cases that had federal and state charges. And my position has been from the Department of Public Safety standpoint that when you commit a criminal act in this state, you might be subject to federal charges, but you're also going to be subject to state charges when it's appropriate. And that's what we have here. And I don't look at it who's the lead. These individuals are going to be tried in both states. They're going to be convicted in both states. And so I don't look at it that way, but I'll let the General talk about the prosecution and that side of it.
Thank you, Commissioner. That's exactly correct. We'll be working together. There's first lead. It's all about holding these individuals accountable, which is what we'll be doing. Again, having that strong relationship with our federal partners, the partners in Louisiana. We'll be working hand in hand to bring these individuals to justice and justice for these families. So it's going to be a large prosecution. It's going to happen in both states. It's going to be federal charge, state charges, all working together. Again, we're working together, so we'll just see how it all comes to fruition. Certainly, we do that on a number of cases, as the commissioner said. It's just a matter of how it all comes together for the timing. And again, but we're certainly working with one another and sharing all the information. Thank you.
I'm just curious again. We're just trying to see some clarity because the district attorney over here is charged the individuals there. First degree murder, 2 counts, which leads you to that Erin had the over there.
Yeah.
Is that money or maybe the investigation that happens for the kids? Do we have any evidence that she's for?
Yeah, I can't speak on behalf of Tangible Hope and what they have and what they did to present the case to their grand jury. I know what we have here in the city of Jackson, and we're going to proceed with those charges. We're going to work with our Hinds County District Attorney's Office, our federal partners, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and Mississippi Attorney General to make sure that this individual is prosecuted. We know what evidence we have. We know the resources that we deployed to deal with that particular situation. And I just have to be honest with you. You know, I worked homicide for 9 years as a young detective. And I'll never forget seeing that baby in the woods. I will never forget that. So he has to be held accountable. She was dead in the woods here in the city of Jackson. And we're going to hold him and Miss Cox accountable for that here in the city of Jackson. We are still awaiting forensic evidence. That stuff has not came back yet from the lab. I feel very confident on where we are, that it fits our charges appropriately.
As for Callie, he is expected to go back to Louisiana soon. Do y'all have a date on when that extraction is going to be? And once that does happen, what's kind of the game plan with continuation on the investigation, the indictments? You know, especially with Cox still here, him over there. What's kind of the game plan working with Louisiana?
Well, and again, we're working with our federal partners on this, and I expect there will be federal charges, particularly as it becomes a multi-state issue. And I imagine the feds are going to pursue their case heavily, from what I understand, in the state of Louisiana. So again, we're going to push for our charges here in Mississippi. We'll work together. We'll coordinate together. We've had those conversations, and we'll continue to have those conversations. And you know, I've worked as a prosecutor 20 years ago. We had cases on the coast that started in Louisiana and finished in Mississippi. Louisiana brought its charges, Mississippi brought its charges, and we figured it out and we worked it out, and there was accountability, and that's exactly what we'll have here. Yes, sir.
Commissioner, is there any evidence that this location of South Jackson or Callie himself or Cox herself is part of the broader network of child trafficking situations, or do you see this as kind of a one situation?
Again, this investigation is ongoing, and we're not going to rule anything out at this point. I think there's certainly something that we're going to continue to dive into and investigate. And again, as the general mentioned, and the chief and Colonel Herzog mentioned, we need the public's partnership on this. We need your help. If you know something, if you've heard something, if there's something that you feel like you should report. Maybe there's individuals that have met this guy before and had reasons to be concerned, or just like how this whole thing came to light, they hear noises in the woods. Report that to us and let us continue that investigation. There are certainly reasons to continue to ask more questions, as the chief indicated. We have some answers. We know he did this. We know her involvement, but there's still other questions that we want to answer and keep digging. So, yes.
You just mentioned involvement. I know about 10 days ago, there was still a little bit of uncertainty, the extent of what she is involved in. Is there any clarity that we can get on where she comes into all of this?
Well, obviously, when you're a cohort in the crime, when you're a companion criminal, when you're part of the criminal enterprise of an individual and you're working with them and you're part of it, you're going to get charged just like that individual. So, she's going to be right there with Callahan, and they're going to be charged equally and be held equally responsible for what happened in this case. I think that's it. We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
And we just heard there, so that was Commissioner Sean Tindell. We also heard from the Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Finch, from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations. We heard from Lieutenant Colonel Brian Herzog, as well as Jackson Police Chief Joseph Wade. And basically, they're all saying the same thing. These individuals will be tried here in Mississippi. They will be held accountable for their actions. Now, one thing that they did mention, or at least Attorney General Lynn Finch mentioned, was the 6-year-old sister's name, and her name was Jaylee. She is the one that survived this, and Lynn Finch spoke about getting justice for her and for her future, for what she went through in this horrific crime, with losing her mother to being abducted and then losing her little sister. But her name is Jaylee, and I know our thoughts and prayers here are definitely with little 6-year-old Jaylee. Now, Lieutenant Herzog, he also thanked some of the special agents with the NBI, Special Agent Megan Watson, Norman Young, and analyst with the NBI, Ty Parker. He also said that if anyone has any further information regarding this crime, to please come forward, as well as Sean Tindell, Commissioner Tindell. He spoke about needing the public's participation, the partnership with the public. If there's something that you know, something that you saw that happen, something that you believe might be connected to this, they are asking that you please come forward and you let them know, so that this helps to build a even more solid case against not only Callahan, but also his alleged accomplice, Victoria Cox. Chief Wade also said that we will hold these individuals accountable here in Jackson, in the state of Mississippi. He also said they believe very strongly in their charges for Daniel Callahan and Victoria Cox. Both of them were charged with capital murder and sexual battery. Everybody reiterated in this press conference that this investigation is ongoing. It is still happening. They are still working to get more information to build an even more solid case against these two criminals. Chief Wade was not able to speak on the cause of death of Erin at this time, because he stated they are still waiting for forensics to come back on the cause of death. But again, they wanted to reiterate, we still need the public's partnership. We need you guys. If you have any information, if you know anything, if you think you know anything, please pass that information along to the officials, whether it be a Jackson Police Department or the Attorney General's office. Even, Hinds County Sheriff's Office wasn't involved in this. Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, please pass that information along. And then Attorney Fitch, Lynn Fitch, she also spoke about how there is no clear path forward yet on which state will be taking these individuals to trial first. What they did reiterate was that the two states, along with the federal prosecutors, are going to be working hand in hand to make sure that these individuals, Daniel Callahan, Victoria Cox, that they get brought to justice here, not only in Louisiana, but in Louisiana, but here in Mississippi, as well as the possible federal charges that could be coming down for both of them. Commissioner Tindell said that he does believe that federal charges are coming for both Callahan and Cox in these cases. We know that because they did take the children across state lines, that is considered a federal offense as far as kidnapping goes. But they do anticipate there to be federal charges on both of them. And again, I know it sounds like a broken record with this, but they wanted to reiterate, if you know something, if you think you know something, if you saw something, please let them know about it. So we're going to have more on this on our newscast tonight. Make sure you're tuned in to our newscast. If you haven't already downloaded the WLBT News app, make sure you download that so you can get notifications not only when we have breaking news come in, but also you'll be able to watch our newscast live there. You can watch them live, or you can watch them on demand at a later time. We will be back tomorrow again for WLBT Plus. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate all of you who have tuned in here on social media, and we're going to continue to follow this case until justice is brought forward, not only here in Mississippi, but Louisiana and on the federal level as well. Again, keep the 6-year-old sister, the 6-year-old survivor, Jaylee, in your thoughts and prayers, as well as the entire family that is having to deal with these horrific losses in their life. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow. Hope you have a wonderful evening.